Today I'm in the cemetery surrounding the Church of St Mary's in the Grove. We can't actually tell whether the church is abandoned or not. It's no longer in use for worship, but there are some cars which have been dumped here, and there's padlocks on the door, even though some of the roof tiles are missing or are displaced. There's a sign saying there's CCTV on the gate, and some of this grass has been cut so you can access the graves, but a lot of it is just overgrown, so we're really unsure who owns it. But I imagine somebody does. Some of these are really old. We've got a John Evans. A Frederick Allen, 1901 to 1964. And a Hannah Mary Havard, 1945. The cemetery was originally a circular one, which means it was dating back to pre-Christian times. And the first church here was medieval. And then the church was rebuilt sometime in the early 1800s by the Victorians. Sometime between 1804 and 1820 apparently. The outside of the church walls look pretty good. It's just the roof looks a bit sad, and I could see a small tree growing out of the guttering and quite a lot of ivy. It's really difficult knowing how much to snoop around. I can't actually see any cameras. As far as I know, access is allowed to visit graves. 2016. Okay. I thought that the burial records finished in 1991, from what I found online. There's certainly a lot of memorials here, and some of them are quite ornate. A lot of them are to preachers that were here. I really like these glass domes, which kind of had white artificial flowers in them. I can see the flowers have crumbled to nothing. Oh, that's a shame. There's one still there, you can just see. Samuel Jones, 1924, age 62. Now that one's 1991. We think the last preacher that was here was a Canon Pugh. My mum actually looked after him when he went into an old people's home locally, so she knew him very well, and she seems to think that he was the last one before the church was deconsecrated. There's lots of these white flowers and butterflies around. Oops, I've fallen off the edge of the path. Ooh, there's a massive hole. I don't think I'm going to venture over to those ones. There's a huge hole here, and what do you see? Anne Jones and David Jones. Looks like 1901. Most of them are in Welsh. think it might be safer just down the path. Here rest in hope, most deeply loved, the late Reverend John Davis. Age 45. I'm guessing this is abandoned because it's really out in the sticks at the end of a narrow dead-end lane. I can't read of that. I think it says in memory of the family something. Ellen Lewis, 1919, age 57. Some of this has been cut, perhaps so that the relatives of the people who are buried here most recently can get here and have a look. Esther Thomas. And behind, with the urn on the top, Thomas P. Thomas. Shame I can't actually read most of it. And Hannah Rees. David Rees. He was 88 and she was 85 possibly. That's quite a decent age. I quite like it when it says where they lived. This one's inside an enclosure. Some like this are fairly plain, and then others are really elaborate. I'm trying to work out what that is in that field, whether that's some kind of standing stone over there or just a piece of rubbish. I shall have to look and satisfy curiosity. It's probably a tree stump. Standing stone. That's interesting. I can't get in there. Oh, there's a hook on it. So it would have been a gatepost, a really, really old gatepost. So if I can zoom in a little bit. There we are, you can see the hook if you look carefully. So it's a really old gatepost. I didn't think we'd get into the church because of having done some research online. Seems strange that it's been left. (1996). Okay, so all these are a lot newer than what I thought. There's loads over here. Very overgrown. There could be others, I suppose, under all this grass. This bit ouch, prickles. This bit hasn't been cut at all. The grass is up to my waist. There's a fallen tree. See if I can get round the back there. There's lots of prickly brambles and holes. Oh, these are really old. I'm disappointed we can't get into the church. Evan Evans. I think it says 1841, age 50. This one's in English, but I can't read it. Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh. Can't read it. So teach us to something. That's a shame I can't quite read it. I'm going right to the back now. Sacred to the memory of Rachel James in this parish. And this poor monument, which I can't read, it's been surrounded by stone. Sorry, person. No, it's too overgrown. And that's another Rachel. It's well fenced with quite new fencing. Brick wall here, and another one of those glass domes with china flowers. And there's some really old slates. Here something Elizabeth. Some of these are really, really old. There's a poor one right up here. These are very hidden. These seem to be the older section. The ones down to the right of the church were newer. Trying to get up to the old one up there. I don't want to damage anything. Don't think anyone can come up here very much. In memory of James Jones, 1869, and Rachel Jones, 1890, age 83. And there's a really big one here, the Griffiths, her family, from 1874 to 1924. So, even the most recent one is 100 years old. Elizabeth. of Samuel Jones. Died November 19th, 1873. And it looks like their daughter, 1880. I've just scared a load of birds who are freaking out now, loudly. Sorry, birds. I can see a really big memorial over here. Oh dear, they're really freaking out. David Thomas, 1896. And Sarah Hannah Thomas. I wish I hadn't scared the birds. I didn't realise how many graves there were. There's a big monument here which I was trying to get to. James, the son of David and Rachel Jones. (1863), and this has lost its chains. That's lovely. Gosh, I expect that would have cost an awful lot in its day. I don't want to climb up there really. The birds are really freaking out. That one's broken. They're all quite old. I think that's in memory of the children of Daniel and Margaret Jones. There's a whole list of them. April 1833. Unfortunately, they're not lined up very well. 1847, 1851, two of them. And Mary, 1856. Gosh, age 1, 3, 13, 5 and 33 respectively. And there's another one facing the other way, right in the bushes. I'm going to move from here because the birds are freaking out. They've probably got a nest or something. This one's fallen. Abel Rees of Adpar Shop, Newcastle Emlyn, and Eleanor, his wife. And that's 1875, I think, but Margaret Thomas possibly. You can see this is the other side of the church. You can see some of the tiles are coming off and there's grass growing on the roof. It looks like there's some stained glass windows. As I said, the walls are in quite good condition, but there's supposed to be a 14th century font inside of quite unusual design. If it's still there. There seems to be an abandoned pew laying outside, which has got spoiled by the weather. This ground is really uneven. There's a whole load of oak trees coming up here. It's not easy to walk on. Evan Jones, son of David and Elizabeth. There's so many here. I didn't think there'd be this many. It's quite interesting, even though we can't get inside the church. I'd be here all day if I read them all out. That one's cracked. Lots of Elizabeths and Davids. I suppose a lot of them would have been family names. In memory of John Thomas. A lot of them are similar design with a Bible on the top. the one I found earlier that had fallen down. That one I cannot read at all. I'm very careful not to tread on them. There appears to be one there, which has fallen. It's completely covered with grass. There's one in an enclosure, which looks really, really old. Ebenezer somebody. Possibly Williams, not really sure. Didn't get many Ebenezers. And Charlotte. Can't make the date out, unfortunately. I don't want to go messing around pulling the ivy off. There's a little one next to them. A lot of them are covered in this kind of white lichen. Can't read that one either. There seems to be some rope round there. It's been there a long, long while. Strange place. You can see where the driveway's been mown at one time. Not too long ago. I suppose some people must come visit the graves. Wow, there's another hole. One's over there. Can't really get over there. They're actually overgrown by the bracken, which I can smell. Can't really see much of the church. You can see there's a little bell tower at the top. There's obviously electric going across here, which I imagine is still on. And a dumped car, hasn't been out here for a long while. See some stained glass. There's a grave in there, next to the usual yew tree that you see. I can't see who that is. Yeah, the walls look good. This car hasn't been out here for a long while. And then there's like a shutter. I think that may have come out of one of the windows. If anyone knows, tell me. There's a doorbell with a light on it. I think it might have been, looks to me like one of those in the top one. It looks like that one's fallen out and the second one down's been bricked up. And there's a sad pew and an abandoned van. Right. At least the rain stopped. See, it's very misty over the valley. That monument down there looks really interesting, but I don't think I can get to it. It's unfortunate we can't get in there. So I think that's about all I'm going to get today. So thank you for watching.